Hi, I'm Chris Callahan with UVM Extension and the Northeast Center to Advance Food Safety. We're in Tallahassee, Florida, visiting Legacy Greens. The Miranda brothers will walk us through how they approach food safety in their hydroponic operation.
So yeah, my name is Jordan Miranda. I'm the cultivation manager for Legacy Greens, and I knew I wanted to apply my indoor farming experience to something food and cultivation related, and stumbled upon the microgreens. And we started the business in 2020 during COVID. We started out of our house in the guest bedroom. Quickly over the past 3 years have expanded into our now 3,000 square foot warehouse. With climate change, with just large agriculture and the amount of fossil fuels and chemicals that go into it, with all the foodborne illnesses and all the food safety recalls, and I mean, you hear almost on a monthly basis of some lettuce that's contaminated or something going on. And I see indoor farming as not necessarily the solution to everything, but a major part in the big plan. It's always been something that's been really interesting to me. I love the components of understanding the HVAC, the electrical, the plumbing, the nutrients, the lighting. I'm a kind of a 10,000 foot kind of guy, and I love the systems and the structures.
My name is Daniel Miranda, Jordan's older brother. For Legacy Greens, I primarily do all the sales and marketing, so I am the face of Legacy Greens, if you will, to the chefs. I do a lot of the deliveries. I handle managing their orders, so we've currently got about 70 restaurants on a weekly basis that we service. Our bread and butter has really been restaurants from all the way as far west as Destin to here in Tallahassee. We've also even gone a little bit into Georgia at times.
Cleanliness is next to godliness. My old boss used to walk around with the white glove, and we call it the abuela clean. I'm a Cuban, and so Hispanics, it's got to be up to abuela standards. But I mean, really, for us, we take a lot of pride in what we're doing. Feeding our local community is super important to us. It's super fun, it's super rewarding, and the last thing we want to do is make somebody sick. I've taken the Produce Safety Alliance course, and that's kind of where I got my basic understanding of food safety and what we do need to be doing. But just don't be afraid to try things, and don't assume just because that's the way they did it, that's the way it needs to be done. To get to the level that we're at, yeah, that stainless steel tables are really nice, having the designated equipment and the bins, but actually really didn't cost that much in the grand scheme of things. And for the consciousness in my head knowing that what we're doing is safe, I was like, man, I would always be second guessing, is this okay? Is this okay? Are we doing this right? And it's just a big relief knowing that, yeah, we are doing this right. We're crossing our T's, we're dotting our I's. It was really the peace of mind.
Jordan has built this culture of food safety, so it's not really like we're implementing anything new or it's difficult. It's already in all of our systems, so it's very easy.
My name is Julian Miranda. I'm the middle brother of the three brothers that own and operate this facility. I've pretty much just been filling in any gaps that they need help with, whether it's helping with sales, helping with delivery, helping with our education outreach program, where we actually work with several local elementary schools. We provide their classes grow kit activities, so that way the students can actually experience firsthand not only growing something, but also harvesting it and eating it, and just introducing students, in elementary school to agriculture and also the concept of indoor agriculture. Expect the unexpected and just buckle up for the ride. Just keeping an open mind to everything and new opportunities.
So all of our microgreens and all the produce that we grow here in Legacy Greens, we use what I call an automated watering system. I say automated because it is automated, and depending on whether or not we're using soil or cocoa, it could be hydroponics, it could be automated irrigation, whatever you want to call it. But Essentially, all the trays get watered the same way. So to show you here, we've got one rack set. We've got a reservoir down below, which has a pump connected to a timer. And at a certain time of the day, the pump will send the water to the top tray, and the water will fill to a certain point before cascading into the tray below. And that process will repeat until all the trays are flooded and the water returns back to the reservoir. After about 10 minutes is how long that process takes. All the trays are flooded, the pump will shut off, and all the water will slowly drain away. And so there's never actually any water touching the harvestable portion of the crop. The water only ever gets soaked up and actually it gets wicked. All these trays have holes underneath, and so the water is wicked up from the bottom. The soil gets saturated and then it drains away. And so that's essentially, in a nutshell, how these racks work. We do use a nutrient solution for all of our racks. We have a stock tank over here where we mix everything, and essentially it creates a lot of consistency in the watering. It's actually improved our yield since we've incorporated automated irrigation, and it's actually reduced a lot of the human error that can be associated with hand watering. And it's also saved us a tremendous amount of time. We grow upwards of 600 trays on any given week, and so to water 600 trays would take quite a bit of time. And so by having this automated system, it saves me a lot of time, it saves the staff a lot of time. And I know for a fact that the trays are getting watered properly, and that we're not wetting any of the crop above. This is our stock tank. This is the main tank that we use to feed the rest of the farm. In this tank, we fill our water with our municipal tap water. We use Tallahassee utilities to provide our water. And so this comes straight out of the tap. And then we add our Maxi Grow or Maxi Bloom, depending if we're watering our flowers or watering the microgreens. We use about 3 grams a gallon. It's the mixed rate that I use. And we use our Blue Lab combo meter, which will read the EC, the pH, and the temperature. But typically we shoot for a range with the microgreens of about 1.3, 1.4 EC, and a 6.0 pH. But that's what goes on here. And so essentially in the tank, it's got a recirculating pump, and it's actually got a secondary smaller recirculation pump, just in the event that we're not here for a while. At least once a day, this water is getting circulated for at least an hour. And then essentially from there, it'll get pumped out of our nifty green hose, and this will run out to the tanks, and we'll top off all the nutrient reservoirs from there. This tank does get a minor cleaning and rinse between uses. Essentially, we'll rinse the walls. We do sometimes tend to get some algae blooms, which is pretty common in hydroponic growing. Usually if it's a hotter day and if the tank is full and you got fresh nutrients, the next morning you'll see some algae growing in there, but that's pretty standard. Actually, another product that we do use is this microbe lift. So this is essentially a fungus gnat prevention, is really all it is. It's a beneficial bacteria that we add to the water. There's no nutrients in it, there's no food in it. It's just a biologic that we use that is very safe. You can use it in pond water and all sorts of things. And this essentially just keeps fungus gnats from getting past the larvae stage. A lot of indoor farmers suffer from a lot of fungus gnats. That's probably your biggest pain in the butt with indoor farming. Yep. And so this really helps us manage that.
Check out Legacy Greens. We're a small local microgreen farm here in Tallahassee, Florida. Started in 2020, and we're going to be expanding our operation next year, and we're going to be beginning to grow hydroponic lettuce, which we're very excited about. It's going to be kind of new for us, but we think that if we approach it the same way as we did with microgreens, we'll have tremendous success, and we can't wait for that. So, thanks.
This has been a brief tour of Legacy Greens in Tallahassee, Florida. We hope you enjoyed it and maybe even learned something. This work is supported by a USDA Food Safety Outreach Program project in support of increased education and understanding in hydroponics and aquaponics operations. For more information, visit go.uvm.edu/ponics.